I'm trying so hard not to say some shit, dude. I'm trying so hard not to be on Fox News. Oh my Lord.
Fuck it, I'm saying it.
Which is why, this gross piece of shit monstrous scumbag is already shaking hands. AP stream is ahead. I don't care. We'll watch it on this one. I'm so mad. This is disgusting. This is literally being like, yo, Adolf, come talk, please, at the U.S. Congress. And it's wild that this was a bipartisan invite from Chuck Schumer. I got all the smoke today. We're going to be Israel posting today, okay? I'm going to be talking about Israel. So I know that that's like something that a lot of fair weather Democrats who only talk about progress but never want to talk about this issue, you're going to hear a little bit about that, okay? So buckle in.
I want to thank you for giving me the profound honor of addressing this great citadel of democracy for the fourth time. Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization.
Dude, you are the barber. You are doing the barbarism. 40,000 in a conservative
America
estimate.
and Israel must stand together.
They're clapping for him! It's going to be so hard for me not to say terms of service violations right now. Like every person, they're giving him a standing ovation the entire time.
And my friends, I came to assure you today of one thing. We will win. Like December 7th, 1941, and September 11th, 2001, October 7th is a day that will forever live in infamy. It began as a perfect day, not a cloud in the sky. Suddenly, heaven turned into hell.
He's going to do gory details of October 7. He's going to lie about some of the things that happened. Of course, he's not going to bring up the fact that the IDF also messed up majorly. He is seen as like part of the reason why October 7 happened, like how it was ever allowed to happen. We're not even going to get to any of that real shit.
Israel has already brought home 135 of these hostages, including 7 who were freed in daring rescue operations. One of those freed hostages, Noor Gamani, is here in the gallery, sitting near my wife, Sarah. Our special forces, including a heroic officer named Arnon Zmora, who fell in this battle.
You guys are mentally ill. If you think we're mentally ill for saying that a person who is designated as a war criminal and responsible for the death and destruction of an entire fucking area, an open air prison filled to the brim, 40,000 dead, the majority women and children. If we think that that guy is a piece of shit and that makes us mentally ill, then yeah, I guess we're fucking mentally ill. We're the ones who are mentally ill. You're right. This is equivalent to Adolf Hitler giving a speech and the American Congress giving him a standing ovation, like straight up.
Eliyahu Bibas is the grandfather of those 2 beautiful red-headed boys, the Bibas boys, taken hostage. What monsters. And with us also is Iris Chaim, whose son Yotam bravely escaped Hamas captivity with 2 other Israelis, and tragically they were killed making their way back to our lines.
Here's my hopium. This is so gross, and it will literally bring back attention to Gaza. Since the debate, basically no one was talking about Gaza. Benjamin Netanyahu coming out and swinging for the fucking fences in the immediate aftermath of an ICJ decision that declared Israel to be an apartheid state, that Israel must immediately evacuate all the territories that it currently occupies and go back to 1967 borders. And then the ICC warrant for his application is supposed to be going through any time. When you're giving a standing ovation like this, there are 2 things happen. One, people are gonna be like, why the f does anybody care about like a foreign leader this much? What the hell is going on? It will negatively polarize people, I think. And secondly, it will cause people to pay attention to Gaza again. It'll be in the forefront of the conversation again. That will have negative consequences for Israel. It'll have negative consequences for Benjamin Netanyahu. Why are you muting? Just turn it down. Because I don't care. You've heard him a million times over. He's not going to say anything new. This is exactly the same
President
speech.
Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel, and he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten.
The dark side of this, of course, is that this causes so much more people to be anti-Semitic. Like, this is how anti-Semitism festers.
With us today is Lieutenant Avichai Reuven.
Bro, they love doing identity politics. They're so fucking conservative. See, we have black people in the IDF, dude. Hey, guys, don't ever look up what we did to Ethiopian Jews, okay? Please, don't do that. Don't look at the sterilization operation that we engaged in.
As of October 7th,
Israel, famously not racist. This man is literally a far-right Republican in terms of, like, American Congress. And you have Democrats clapping for him. Even on partisan boundaries, this makes no fucking sense. It's like if Donald Trump set up the concentration camps and then put like a black Customs and Border Patrol officer in a fucking State of the Union address or a State of the Congress, and every Democrat was like clapping for the black Customs and Border Patrol guy.
he ran 8 miles, came to the front lines, killed many terrorists, and saved many, many lives.
You think that's
We
a
all
reach?
honor you.
Benjamin Netanyahu, he is, in terms of Israeli politics, a right-wing conservative. I'm using this analogy from American politics for all of the people who only understand American politics maybe a little bit and nothing about Israeli politics to literally comprehend what is going on here. And he is basically the far right conservative of his own fucking country. The only people to the right of him are just like literal Nazis, Jewish Power Party, like white power, okay, straight up. And you have people wearing IDF dog tags in Congress. You have people giving him a standing O, like having Donald Trump talk about how wonderful it is that they're murdering all the migrants in concentration camps or some shit. And have Democrats go, thank you, sir. You're right. You really restored this nation to peace and prosperity.
He lost his right arm and the vision in his
Look at
left
this
eye.
piece of shit.
Covering-
Now he's in a fucking suit. I hate this
Incredibly,
monster.
Asa will soon return to active duty as a commander of a tank company.
Wait, what? Bro doesn't have one arm. What do you mean he's going to be a commander? Are they that low on resources? That's crazy, dog. That's crazy, dog.
I just learned there is a fourth hero here, Lieutenant Jonathan Ben Chamo, who lost a leg in Gaza and continued to fight. These are the soldiers of Israel, unbowed, undaunted, unafraid.
Listen, you don't understand. He was bravely trying to snipe yet another child in the head.
They shall rise like lions. They have risen like lions. The lions of Judah, the lions of Israel.
Why are they clapping for any of this?
Yechiel's father escaped the Holocaust and found refuge in America. At his son's funeral, Yechiel said this: because of the birth of Israel, Yechiel continued, because of the courage of soldiers like my son Moshe, the Jewish people are no longer helpless in the face of our enemies.
Escape the Holocaust just to be abandoned by Israel and have the genocidal state brainwash his son and then lose them to Israel's genocidal operation? I know. I don't care. I'm trying so hard not to say some shit, dude. I'm trying so hard not to be on Fox News. Oh my Lord. Republicans love talking about America first, by the way. There is no world, I don't think, actual Republicans that aren't like the psychopathic, biblical, evangelical Protestants that think like Israel is going to bring about the rapture. Outside of those guys, I don't think any Republican listens to this rabid, monstrous piece of shit and watch their representatives and watch their senators get up and give more of a rabid applause to a foreign nation's leader than their own president when their own president speaks, okay? This is incredible shit. There is no better representation that America is completely bought and sold to corporate interests, to whatever our foreign policy is going to be in the Middle East, than what you are experiencing right now. I do not believe that like Republicans in Alabama that aren't like super invested in this televangelist narrative of the rapture coming are going to look at this and go, wow, I really love that my congressperson is out there clapping like a fucking seal when this guy's saying like, we have to defend Israel. It's the most important state. No shot.
They refuse to make the simple distinction between those who target terrorists and those who target civilians, between the democratic state of Israel and the terrorist thugs of Hamas. And I wish to salute the fraternity brothers at the University of North Carolina.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm going to throw up.
Iran
Clapping USA to Israel's prime minister is so funny. I don't know how y'all do it in Israel, but we got a thing called free speech here, okay? It's motherfucking America. This shit ain't Israel, okay? You can't complain and cry about what is done to the American flag.
You have officially
it's called the First Amendment.
Iran's
Constitutionally
idiots.
protected, too. Imagine having a foreign leader shitting on American citizens and having their own American representatives go, hell yeah, you're right. Suck my dick, you cowards. All of you. Shame on every single person.
Gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC.
Gross, dude.
Don't they know that the land of Israel is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed, where Isaiah and Jeremiah preached, and where David and Solomon ruled?
Why is Hakeem Jeffries clapping at that? Why are you clapping at that, you
For
donkey?
nearly 4,000 years, the outrageous slanders that paint Israel as racist and genocidal are meant to delegitimize Israel, to demonize the Jewish state, and to demonize Jews everywhere. No wonder we've witnessed an appalling rise of anti-Semitism in America and around the world.
Yeah, dude, no. This definitely won't contribute to like an appalling rise of actual anti-Semitism after Americans literally see something that they're not used to and they're like, why is this foreign leader getting so much play? Why does he have so much motion? You think this doesn't contribute to anti-Semitism? This is literally like an American Nazi's wet dream. They will run this over and over again to be like, see, they will take advantage of the lack of critical thinking that the average American has on this issue. Because on the one side, on the Israeli front, Israel consistently uses Judaism as a cynical deployment, a cynical shield to be like, yeah, we're doing this for Jews around the world. Joe Biden then reiterates that point and says, not a single Jew would be safe without Israel being a Jewish ethno-state. So Americans also associate Israel with Judaism when they shouldn't. But there is no greater way to make that argument like, oh, see, look, Jews control the media. Jews control the fucking Congress. Like, look at this, is exactly what Nazis are going to say, especially as these fucking dickheads are giving him a standing ovation.
Aren't getting enough food. It's not because Israel is blocking it. It's because Hamas is stealing it. The ICC prosecutor accuses Israel of deliberately targeting civilians. What in God's green earth is he talking about? The IDF has dropped millions of flyers, sent millions of text messages, made hundreds of thousands of phone calls to get Palestinian civilians out of harm's way. Hamas does everything in its power to put Palestinian civilians in harm's way. They even shoot their own people.
Bro, he's literally just talking about Israel. He's literally just talking about Israel.
They actually want Palestinian civilians to die so that Israel will be smeared in the international media and be pressured to end the war before.
Bro's like, we just can't stop killing Palestinian babies, okay? We won't stop. We can't stop. And Hamas loves it. They take advantage of our unimaginable violence. And the worst part about killing all of those Palestinian babies is that we look bad. People go, hey man, why are you killing so many babies? It's really up. Every single thing he has said is either pure projection, it's Israel doing shit that he's attributing to Hamas, or they've been completely debunked. Will they bring up a Trump-style interpreter on CNN to address all of the lies he has told? I don't know.
Israel, he said, has implemented more precautions to prevent civilian harm than any military in history and beyond what international law requires. The war in Gaza has one of the lowest ratios of combatants to non-combatants casualties in the history of urban warfare. And you want to know where it's lowest in Gaza? In Rafah. Remember what so many people said? If Israel goes into Rafah, there'll be thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of civilians killed.
Y'all burned an entire tent city down. What do you mean?
Because Israel got the civilians out of harm's way, something people said we could never do, but we did it.
The reason why Congress looks full right now, even though half the Democratic caucus is not there, is because they put seat fillers on.
The war in Gaza, they should be commended for it. I want to thank all of you here today who forcefully opposed the false accusations of the ICC and stood up for the truth. The hands of the Jewish state will never be shackled. Israel will always defend itself. Which country ultimately stands in the way of Iran's maniacal plans to impose radical Islam on the world? It's America, the guardian of Western civilization and the world's greatest power.
I'm not kidding. I think Benjamin Netanyahu is more popular in America than he is in Israel. And I think Donald Trump is more popular in Israel than he is in America. Why is chat so anti-American? Dude, that's so funny that you're saying that, because we're not writing a foreign nation's leader in Congress as they give him a standing O behind every word. There are more partisan protests when a fucking American president speaks and talks to its own Congress. And that's anti-American?
That's why the mobs in Tehran chant death to Israel before they chant death to America. So when Israel fights Hamas, we're protecting you.
Yeah, Iran is going to invade America any day now, guys. How can you say you love this nation and then simultaneously look at all of the fucking poverty everywhere? The roads are fucked. There's no infrastructure. Bridges are falling apart. You can't pay for education. Everything is too expensive. This Congress is sending billions of dollars of weapons to a foreign state so they can actively murder more children and women. How can you say you love America and then simultaneously turn around and go, and that's precisely why we got to give billions to an apartheid state? Even if you personally don't care about all the fucking brown children that they're killing because they're brown, you should still be like, why are we giving them billions of dollars of weapons? Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Israel will do whatever it must do to restore security to our northern border and return our people safely to their homes.
And before people start chirping about like, oh, see, America's controlled by Jews, you know who's getting arrested outside of these halls right now? You know who got arrested yesterday? Jews. Jews for ceasefire. Not in our name. Jewish Voice for Peace. There are so many Jewish-led groups that are anti-war and anti-Israel and anti-Zionist that are getting absolutely murked right now by American police because they're American Jews who say, not in our name. And they get arrested by the hundreds. They are tear gassing the press outside right now without even a dispersal order given, mind you. And we're doing that for what? We're doing that for Israel. It's not for Jews. It's for Israel. Israel might claim cynically that they are doing this for Judaism, but it's absolutely unconscionable behavior that has nothing to do with Judaism whatsoever. Never forget, there are 10x more evangelical Protestants that love Israel and want Israel to fucking keep being this psychotic, rabid, bloodthirsty state, specifically because they think the rapture is going to happen. 10x the number of Jews in totality, as a matter of fact. Anti-Zionist Jews and Zionist Jews combined do not even make 1/10 of the number of evangelical Protestant Christians who are rabid ultra-Zionists in this country.
I deeply appreciate America's support, including in this current war. As Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster, and we'll finish the job faster. The war in Gaza
just happened.
could end tomorrow.
Look at that. Netanyahu's giving a smug-ass speech in Congress. Karmit Palti-Kadzir, whose father and brother were murdered on October 7th and her mom kidnapped, is arrested by Capitol Police for wearing a shirt demanding Netanyahu seal the deal. There are Israeli-American Jews who are literally there to protest Benjamin Netanyahu, whose fucking family members have been killed on October 7th, and they're protesting Netanyahu, and we're arresting them. We are so fucking cucked, dude.
That's what total victory means, and we will settle for nothing less. Gaza should have a civilian administration run by Palestinians who do not seek to destroy Israel. That's not too much to ask. It's a fundamental thing that we have a right to demand and to receive. Those twin words, demilitarization and de-radicalization, were applied to Germany and Japan after World War II.
That is what has to happen to Israel, my boy.
Led by the United States, more than half a dozen nations worked alongside Israel to help neutralize hundreds of missiles and drones launched by Iran against us. Thank you, President Biden, for bringing that coalition together. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in brokering the historic Abraham Accords.
Turns out the real unity ticket was Benjamin Netanyahu.
There is no room for political violence in democracies. I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel, from recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights to recognizing Jerusalem as our capital and moving the American embassy there. That's Jerusalem, our eternal capital, never to be divided again. For free peoples everywhere, America remains the beacon of liberty its extraordinary founders envisioned back in 1776. We will fight until we achieve victory. Victory over liberty, rather victory of liberty over tyranny, victory of life over death, victory of good over evil. That's our solemn commitment. Israel will always remain America's indispensable ally. Through thick and thin, together we shall defend our common civilization. Together we shall secure a brilliant future for both our nations. May God bless Israel, may God bless America, and may God bless the great alliance between Israel and America forever. Supreme victory!
This is obviously vile, but I don't know, might have said enough to actually give cover for Dems to break on it, rebuff the peace plan, and glaze Trump on top of being a bloodthirsty monster. If Kamala Harris doesn't boulder Netanyahu after this speech, which, by the way, this is the second time he's done this to a Democratic administration. He did this shit to Barack Obama as well when Barack Obama was securing the Iran denuclearization agreement. A phenomenal foreign policy achievement. This level of disrespect is not even addressed on partisan lines, okay? Not even on a moral quandary, not even on moral boundaries, not even on like, oh, it's unconscionable that this guy is a fucking bloodthirsty war criminal. Not even on those lines, but simply on partisan lines. The disrespect, the gall, the audacity that you could just sit there, be the biggest welfare state on the planet, and then go up to daddy and spit on daddy's face like this? No more, dude, okay? No fucking way, no how. I want to see what the media coverage is going to look like on CNN, but the notion that like he gets to do this shit
on the air, if Palestinians are not getting enough food, that is not Israel's responsibility or fault. We should note that aid groups have said that Israel has made it very hard to get not just food, but
address that shit. Call that shit out.
Gaza.
Kamala Harris has a phenomenal opportunity to change the narrative on the Democratic Party's allegiance to Israel. And at least on the messaging front, come out way more strict on Israel. Kamala Harris has to go fucking, maybe not balls to the wall, because that requires political bravery. I don't think she has it. Leaked UN report, Israeli war has killed 366 UN staff and family members as Netanyahu prepares to address Congress.
What you've seen is not the Prime Minister of Israel. You've seen the Republican senator from Jerusalem.
The most you're going to hear from CNN is going to be liberal Zionism that's hypercritical of Benjamin Netanyahu. At this stage, it's like, I'll take it. They're going to be like, oh, we hate Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu is bad. And it's true. He is bad. But the fact that they don't have like rabid ultra-Zionists on the fucking panel chirping about how beautiful this speech was is a genuine improvement in comparison to like 5 years ago. Things have changed dramatically since October 7. The calculation has changed dramatically since October 7. In terms of U.S. congressional support, this is very important to take note of. In 2015, 50 Democrats in Congress boycotted Netanyahu's speech to Congress. Today, it was 136 Democrats.
One of the reasons Netanyahu cannot utter possible agreements with the Palestinians for a state or anything of that nature is because of his coalition, his extremist coalition. If he utters that, he risks his coalition falling apart and his losing power. And we know that
Dude, this
one
is
of the
good.
reasons of this trip.
Bibi's speech described the reality that doesn't exist, lying about cutting off access to food, lying about civilian casualties, avoiding responsibility for 10/7 security failure and diplomatic failure to bring hostages home, seeking applause for unachievable military objectives. Just imagine what this speech looks like to the rest of the world. A leader who could never even get this kind of reception in Israel given a platform to gaslight in Congress. Also, Dems should not be giving a platform to someone who uses it to attack all protesters, compares them to Hamas, mocks them. We should be building up a diverse coalition with energized young voters, not attacking and alienating them. Over 70% of Israelis want to move on from Netanyahu. He's a diminished figure with no answers for the current crisis, using his ability to interfere in American politics to cling to power. And yeah, here's that wacko anti-Semitic framing you rightfully predicted. To everyone watching Netanyahu's speech to Congress, now you know who controls the United States and owns your politicians. There you go. Every alternative media platform is going to be like, see, it's the Jews. That way he can reiterate the position that like Israel has to be a Jewish majority ethno-state that can only be maintained through an apartheid, and that all Jews in the Western world must come back to Israel. That's his ultimate position. That's why he has, throughout his entire career that spans across multiple decades, has found himself aligning with overt anti-Semitic politicians like Viktor Orban, for example, who ran on a campaign of anti-Semitism. I don't think people are thinking about this. I don't think the Democratic Party is thinking about this. I know that Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't give a shit if anti-Semitism rises in the United States of America because that benefits him.